Elections in the United States, and while analysts expect a record number of women to serve in the next Congress, that number is unlikely to top 25%. An expert with the Center for American Women in Politics at Rutgers University in New Jersey has also poured cold water on the idea that 2018 is the year of the woman, despite the marked increase in female nominees and candidates for the Congress and state legislatures across the country. It's just days to go before the November 6th election that will determine the control of the House of Representatives, the Senate and various governorships around the country.
Women currently make up 20% of Congress. Out of 435 seats in the House of Representatives, just 84 are women. In the 100-seat Senate, just 23 are women, 17 Democrat and 6 Republicans.
We know it's a tight race.
And despite the uptick in candidates, women make up just 28% of nominees for the House in 2018.
Overall, we do think we'll see a record level of women serving in Congress after this cycle. The question really becomes how much of a break are we going to see? What is the magnitude of the increase of women's representation? And I would say, and what I've been saying on the record, is that it seems that it is going to be hard to get to 25% in Congress. It's possible, but that's going to be a reach. So when we're thinking about the year of the woman, as people have been calling it, we have to remember that we're still probably going to end this cycle with less than or about a quarter of those members of Congress being women.
The state of Georgia could make history by electing the first black female governor in the history of the United States, a nationally watched race that saw Oprah Winfrey stump for the Democratic candidate Stacey Abrams.
I got a big truck.
Who's in a tight race against Republican candidate Brian Kemp.
Yeah, I just said that.
She cares about common sense gun control. She does. Take the guns from the people. This is Georgia. We know people want to hunt in Georgia. But since when have we lost common sense for common sense? She wants common sense gun control. She cares about affordable housing, and she cares about criminal justice reform to protect our communities and creating jobs. So the reason I am a registered independent is because I believe that everybody should have the right to vote their values and vote your conscience regardless of the party. And I tell you, I have voted Republican and I have voted Democrat, and each time I voted for the people who I felt represented my values.
Despite a booming economy and unemployment at a 50-year low, President Donald Trump has a 63% unfavorability rating among women nationally, with just 30% of women approving of his job performance.
Two groups to watch for in terms of women voters, particularly women of color voters generally, black women specifically, who are essential to the Democratic base. So if you're looking at states where Democrats are trying to win, whether it be in Texas or in Georgia, you're going to be looking at Latino voters in Texas, black women voters in Georgia, who could really make the difference at the end of the day in shifting some of these races. 96% of black women voted Democratic in the last presidential. So you're really talking about an effect on the Democratic successes based on those voters. And I should say black women voted at the highest rates of any race and gender subgroup in both 2008 and 2012. So they're reliably Democratic voters.
As candidates across the country make their closing arguments to voters, most pollsters agree that Democrats look increasingly likely to flip at least the House of Representatives, while Republicans' chances of holding the Senate have strengthened.
Whoever's in the White House loses the midterm. You lose the midterm, we're going to go through nothing but fights. We're going to be fighting to keep what you have. They're going to want to take it away. You got to get out. Can't be complacent.
We also should not be ignoring the fact that there are many Republican women voters who feel strongly in support of both the president and Republican policies of today. And I think often they get missed in the conversation because they are still the minority of women.
Adding that women voters are not monolithic in the United States. So while President Trump is not on the ballot, this election is being framed as a referendum on his 2 years in office. A Gallup survey shows that healthcare, the economy and immigration are the top 3 issues in this election cycle, while other extremely important issues include the way women are treated in society, gun policy and taxes. With President Trump's job approval rating at around 40%, it's worth noting that his predecessor, Barack Obama, had a 45% approval rating when Democrats lost a whopping 63 seats in the House of Representatives during the 2010 midterm elections. Shervin Briceby's SABC News, New York.